Iti namine namo. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Kiva Jayo Jayo Gora Chande Arati Kosho Bhar Jayo Jayo Gora Chande Jana Vitata Bani Jagamanala Varja Jagajane Ramanala Bhar Jagajane Jaga jane manalabha Gaurangera rati shobhar Jaga jane manalabhar Gaurangera rati shobhar Janavi tatavane Jagajanir manalobha Janavi tatavane Jagajanir manalobha Ar Gaurangera rati shobha Jagajanir manalobha Gaurangera Oh Jai Sachinandana Jai Gaura Hari Jai Sachinandana Jai Gaura Hari Jai Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Dakhini nitai chan Bame gadadhar ki badaki Nikate Advaita Srini Vasa Chhatra Dhara Kiva Boshi Ache Gaura Chan Ratna Singhasan Kiva Boshi Arati Kodena Brahma Adi Devagane आरती करेण ब्रह्मा आदिदेवगणे नर हरि आदि करी चामर ढुलाय किबा नर संजय मुकुंद वासु घोषयादि गाय संजय शिव शंकर बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल शिव शंकर मधुरा मृदंग बाजे परम रसाला मधुरा मृदंग बाजे परम रसाला मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे शंख गौरांगेर आरती काले मधुर 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 बाजे गौरांगेर आरती ओ शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे शंख गौरांगेर आरती काले मधुर 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 बाजे गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल बोलो निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल बहु कोटि चंद्र जिनी बदन उजाल गला देशे बनमाला गोरे झल माला शिव शिव शुक नारदा प्रेमे गद गद शिव भक्ति विनोद देखे गौरार संपाद ঠাকুর ভকতি বিনোদ দেখে গৌরার সম্পাদ কি বজায় জয় গৌরা চনে আরতি কশ বাকি বজায় জাহ্নবী তটবনে জগমনল বাজন हो जय सचिनंदन जय गौर हरि सचिनंदन जय गौर हरि जय सचिन जय निताय गौर सुंदर जय निताय गौर सुंदर निताय गौर सुंदर जय निताय गौर सुंदर अनिताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Nitai Gauranga Jai Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jai Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jai Gaura Hari Jai Nitai Gauranga Jai Gaura Hari Jai Sachinandana Jai Gaura Hari Jai Sachinandana Jai Sachinandana Jai Gaura Hari Jai Har Gadadara Pranadana Shri Gaura Hari Gadadara Pranadana Shri Gaura Hari O Nityananda Pranadana Shri Gaura Hari Nityananda Pranadana Shri Gaura Hari O Shri Gaura Hari Shri Gaura Hari Shri Gaura Shri Gaura Hari, Jai Shri Gaura Hari. Ananya Bihari, Shri Gaura Hari. Oh Mayapura Chandra, Shri Gaura Hari. Shri Gaura Hari, Shri Gaura Hari. Jai Shri Gaura Hari, Shri Gaura Hari. Oh Jai Jagannath Swami, Jai Jagannath. Oh Jai Jagannath Swami, Jai Jagannath. Oh Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Oh Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Oh Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Oh Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Oh Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Radhe Radhe Radha Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radhe 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 Radha Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jai Jai Gopala Jai Jai. Govinda Jai Jai Gopala Jai Jai. Ar Govinda Jai Jai Gopala Jai Jai. Govinda Jai Jai Gopala Jai Jai. Bolo Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jaya. Jai Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jai. Oh Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jai Radhe Jai Krishna. Jai Radhe Jai Krishna. Jai Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha. Baladeva Jai Subhadra. Jai Nitai Gaur Sundar Jaya Nitai Gaur Sundar. Nitai Gaur Sundar Jai Nitai Gaur Sundar. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada. Oh Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Gurudev. Bolo Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol. Bolo Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol. Jai Gaur Premanande. विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजगाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्तबिंद की जय। गंगा माई जमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। वृंद देवी की जय। वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन महाराज की जय। कृष्ण बलराम की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। राधा श्याम सुंदर जीव भगवान की जय। राधा माधव जीव भगवान की जय। निताई गौर सुंदर भगवान की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। गुरु महाराज की जय। निताई गौर सीतानाथ प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, glories, glories to the Guru and Gauranga. All glories, Srila Prabhupada, Gaura Premanande.
Namaste Narasingaya. Pralada Ladayine. Hiranyakashipu Rakshaha. Silatan Kanakalaye. Silatan Kanakalaye. Ito Narsinga Parato Narsinga. Yato yato yamita to Narsinga. Vai Narsinga Hridaya Narsinga. Narasinga Manim Sharanam Prapade. Narasinga Manim Sharanam Prapade. Kavakara Kamalavare Nakamaruta Chinga. Talita Hiranyakashipu Tanumringa. Peshavarita Narahari Rupa Jagadicha Hare. Jagadicha Hare. Jagadicha Hare. Keshavarita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadicha Hare. Jaya Jagadicha Hare. Jaya Jagadicha Hare. Narsingade Jai Narsingade Narsingade Jai Narsingade Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jai Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jai Prahlad Maharaj Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudeva, Jai Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jai Gurudeva. Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai, Bhakti Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. So we welcome everyone to New Kalinagram Dham, Baltimore, the abode of most beautiful Shri Nitai Gaur Sundar, Lord Jagannath Baladev Subhadramai, the most beautiful Shri Radha Mata. Welcome everyone. We would like to thank you, Pujaris. I think the deities look so phenomenal as always, so I'd like to say loud Haribo for them, please. Today's cooking will be done by Jalita Mataji and a team. So it'll be wonderful prasadam. So loud Haribo is working for long hours for them. We don't have any sponsor today, but if somebody likes to sponsor, you can find me or Roshish Prabhu to sponsor for the pleasure of the Lord. Otherwise, Lord Jagannath will be the sponsor of his own feast. So. Upcoming programs, we have started something called Monthly Sankirtan Festival, because as Prabhupada always said that we should be going out, preaching this holy name to people outside. How many people are desirous of this, but they haven't got this service? And I think we have got so many reviews when we used to go to downtown Baltimore that, oh, you just Hare Krishna used to there all the time, you're not here, what's happening, everything. So we are restarting this monthly Sankirtan festival where we want to have all the people coming together. We want all congregation, as many members possible coming together. This time it will be done in Towson area. So we'll have nice kids, all of them will be there. We'll do Harinam there, we'll book distribution, and then after that we'll come back. And those who participate will have a nice, wonderful feast for that one. So it'll be nice to once a month we'll do it. And depending on how it goes, we'll expand further for that. We have a very nice team who are working together. Make it happen, we'll give more details for that one. Then I think next month we have Lord Nityananda's Triyodashi, which is a very special program. Which day is that? 6th of February, we have the Nityananda Triyodashi. The most beautiful Lord Nityananda Ram, Nanandar Balram is here. And his mercy, everybody should take it there. He's the most merciful incarnation. And then he will give some mercy. Please come on that day, 6th. And then after that, we got Punim. Then we have many, many wonderful programs. After that, Ram Navami. And then after, the most important part which we want to announce today is May 27th. We have announced is our Rath Yatra Day. Hari Go. So Memorial Day weekend, as always, we want everyone be part of it. This is not mine or yours, everyone's Rath Yatra. So we won't be making flyers actively. We're going to do Facebook, but we're going to order 5,000 cards this year. And our goal is to involve the whole community around here, not even the many temples. So if your connection temples, invite all of them, invite the senior devotees also. We want to see that, this time Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra comes, it inundates the whole inner harbor. We know that in India now, they can only do Rath Yatra with Lord Jagannath once a year, that too on the day of Rath Yatra or Jagannath Puri. Other days they don't do, but we are very fortunate that those rules don't apply to us, and Lord can come whenever He calls. That's why we have so many Rath Yatras there. So we have to make sure that we take the best opportunity of this in Land of Freedom in the US for that one. So it's very nice for that. And also, that on January 1st we announced a very beautiful program to fulfill Prabhupada's wishes and also promise to deities the Goshala project for that. And just to let you know that we have been actively looking and we will give you updates regularly. Shekhar Prabhu, who is the chairman project, and Yatin Prabhu is vice chairman project. So Shekhar Prabhu is not here. I'll request Yatin Prabhu to come and give updates. What we've been doing since we announced last week what's going on, and we'll keep you updated. And hopefully we'll have Jagannath or see things will be rectifying very fast.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Niyamala Prabhu. As we announced last week, we have a Goshala project that we've kicked off. And we want to really stay behind that project. So we started an aggressive approach to search for land in the neighboring counties, Carroll County, Montgomery County, Howard County. Of course, we want to make the Goshala accessible to everyone here. So we're trying to keep it within a certain vicinity with, from the temple, 30 to 40 minutes. And so it gives everyone the opportunity to serve and participate in the Goshala itself. And so, we've aggressively kind of started the search for the land, and, we'll keep everyone posted. Of course, as we mentioned last week, that the first part is to acquire the land, and then everything will kind of, we'll start building from there. So, obviously be patient with us, but we are working, the best we can to search for the land and to ideally get the right, size of land that fits our budget and that allows us to kind of, have all the kind of needs that we want to be able to serve the Lord. So Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I will keep you updated for that. So now, what we'll do is, we'll be doing a seminar called ISKCON, Our Child, Our Future. And ISKCON is an initiative called Child Protection Organization, which is a very, very big organization in ISKCON. And we take our kids' role very seriously. So what we'll do, we have 10 minutes. So before we start that, we will chant together as a community, which will really strong it up. Then after that, we'll do child protection organization for that one. So let's chant together. I'll put Prabhupada on. It's a 10-minute, one round chanting. Let's work together with Prabhupada. Okay? Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna. So now we'll start our child protection thing. Our topics for today is temple safety, and temple safety means everyone who's part of it needs to be safe. The most important part is to the children. They are the future of our society, and if they flourish nicely in loving environment without any intimidation and any fear, they can prosper much more and be very valuable contribution for that one. After that, last 10 minutes, we'll also have a very important topic, which is it's called an active shooter. I don't know, many people know, but US, there has been many hate crimes happening in all parts of the country, basically. I think 3-4 years back, there was like a couple of attacks on a Sikh temple in Albany, California. And many of the things could have been prevented if they had just followed the basic guidelines for that one. And plus, as a temple, we think that, oh, we are invincible, nobody's going to come and hurt us or something. But this can happen anytime, any place. Somebody who's with deranged mentality, who's out of sync for everything, can come and just do that. So this is very important. So first, I'll request for child protection to have Grace Radha Leela Mataji. Please come and give a short talk for that one. Radha Leela Mataji's disciple is Police Radha Maharaj, and she's part of the child protection. Vishnupriya Mata, who's in charge of that one, she couldn't make it there because of ill health. So Radha Leela Mataji just kindly agreed to give us some presentation. Okay, I think that's a good idea. We can show the video first. Yes, sure. So this is an active shooter video. The reason we are showing is there because we have no idea, like sometimes, like in our hospitals, everywhere else where we work, they always have this like, but temples and churches,
CSU Monterey Bay is located on California's central coast, 2 hours south of San Francisco. It's a beautiful place next to miles of trails along with pristine beaches bordered by a world-renowned marine sanctuary. Thousands of students and staff may consider the campus itself a sanctuary, but sadly, that sanctuary can be violated. This beautiful campus could become the backdrop of a scene that happens all too often across this country. Chances are you'll never face a situation like this one, but if you do, you need to be prepared. I'm Chief Earl Lawson with the California State University Monterey Bay Police Department. The members of UPD have prepared this video to help improve your chances of surviving an active shooter incident. CSU Monterey Bay's police department trains countless hours to be prepared for emergency situations such as this. Our number one priority is to keep you safe. Make no mistake, you can survive an active shooter incident by remembering 3 important steps. Run, hide, fight. If the campus community experiences an active shooter or similar emergency, our police department will send out what's called an otter alert. These text messages are sent as soon as possible after determining that a threat exists.
An otter alert will contain the most accurate information available at the time, but an active shooter situation evolves rapidly and details may be limited. It's important for you to remain observant. Use your senses to be aware of your surroundings at all times.
The first and best option to survive is to run.
Get as far away as you can. Once you're at a safe distance, call 911.
911, what's your emergency?
Make sure you tell the 911 operator, who is located at the Monterey County's Dispatch Communication Center, that you are on the CSUMB campus.
The officers are on their way.
Running away should always be your first priority. But what happens when you hear gunshots and are unable to get out?
101 focuses on engaging your students in writing, building.
Your second reaction should be to hide.
Everybody get under your desk.
If you're in a room, lock the door. Look for something to barricade entry points. Turn off lights. Silence your cell phone. The idea is to make it as hard as possible for the shooter to see you, find you, or get to you.
The alert says the shooter's in the building.
And always spread out, don't huddle together. That creates one easy target.
If running isn't an option and hiding isn't an option, there's one last reaction you should consider if confronted by the shooter. Fight.
Find anything to use as a weapon. A fire extinguisher, a chair, Fighting back is the last resort, but if it's between you and the shooter, we want you to survive.
When preparing yourself for this fight mentally, remember something. Statistically, active shooters are apprehended or eliminated within the first 5 minutes of the incident.
Once notified, our officers will respond to stop the shooter. Keep fighting until our officers arrive. That could be 10 seconds away, the most important 10 seconds of your life. It's scary to think about, but an active shooter is something we all need to be prepared for. Whether you're a student or a member of our staff or faculty, take time to know your surroundings. Know at least 2 exits out of your room and building. Take different routes into and out of your building to become familiar with every possible escape route. Look around the room you're in right now. Find areas where you could hide or items that you could use as weapons. 3 simple words can save lives. Remember, run, hide, fight.
Your left. Hold.
So this was a video, it's for the campus community, but this is, has been generalized for a lot of places. And I think the most important part is to see the exit for us, because we don't have this multiple rooms, but like there are rooms upstairs. Exit is the most important part. Like you have the exit there, and then exit downstairs. So you see something, always be prepared to do that. And run, hide, and fight, that's the last resort. As devotees, we never fight, but when it happens, when it's to protect Krishna or your own life or your friend's life or devotee's life, then we have to fight those circumstances. So it's very important that we take this seriously. And anytime, you know, we have seen there's this bunch of thieves also running around every temple, like Hindu temple all over the country. These are from Romania, and these people go in batches of like 4 or 5. Some of them wear like a hijab, everything, and they say, oh, they're in distress, they'll come to Pujari. And Pujari, of course, she goes somewhere, and they go take the hundi away, or they do other things itself. So it's very, very important. And because we have a very active communication between our ISKCON temples, especially Northeast, so corridor, anytime one place they came, they immediately texted all of us, so we were prepared. So as soon as they came, Shyam Prabhu, everybody else was able to capture them. So it's most important part, a community which has to be vigilant is that key for survival for everyone. So we have to always look around. If you find somebody who's a little bit like shady something, please tell me or Shyam Prabhu, somebody else, so we can at least implore. It can be happen now, it can be happening during weekdays also when there is very less staff for that one. So thank you so much. This was one first drill for keeping a temple safe. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can find me later and we can talk about it. Now next thing, which is very, very important, is called child protection. You know, we say that these kids are Krishna's sons, we all are Krishna's sons, and how does it happen that child protection is not taken care of itself? I think if you're surrendering to Krishna, people get the question, how come devotees be involved in this kind of things? Well, when you think that you are separate from Krishna, when you lord it of material nature, when you become arrogant, proud, then you see that, oh, I am the doer. And if somebody does something, then ahankar comes in there, and your mind gets twisted, all the stuff there. In that process, you make some mistakes we're not supposed to make, and it can be harsh reality for the kid, the family, for the whole community. We have seen over the times and times, so many times, last 30, 40 years, churches, even ISKCON hasn't been spared like 30, 40 years back, and so many other places have been done. In India also it goes on, but it's very, very kept underneath because of fear of being ostracized or like compressed by that. But here, we are very diligent. Our Child Protection Agency from ISKCON is a very, very dynamic organization. If you find or something going on, we immediately activate the Child Protection Agency. They give us guidelines. Vishnupriya Mataji and Radharani Mata is very much actively involved. Any kind of things we share with them. They check it out. If there's any red boundaries, they tell us what to do, and then they investigate everything. And because of that, these incidents have become very, very low. But most important part is that we have to be very vigilant, and parents have to realize that it can happen anywhere. Hindu temple, churches, anywhere else. Many places hidden, but it's as available is there. So that's why our most important part is to bring to all of you this child protection seminar, which is very, very close to everybody.
Neil Mother Prabhu. I want to thank all of you for coming here tonight and being part of this presentation. Before I get started, I do want to thank Neil Mother Prabhu and Temple Management for allowing us and allowing me on behalf of Child Protection Organization to give this little presentation. This presentation is very interactive. It's informal, so please don't hesitate to interact and be part of this discussion. Be part of this discussion. Thank you. So just a quick introduction, like Neil Mother Prabhu was explaining to everybody, that Child Protection Office headquarters, actually they have made it mandatory for us to provide this training for everybody in our temple. They're part of our community. We are required to do the child safety awareness each year for parents and children.
Are you going to look it this way?
Okay. To the echo?
Yeah, because of echo. Yeah, that's better, I think.
No, I'm fine. So part of our, better? Okay. So part of our child protection team at our temple is Neil Mother Prabhu, Vishnu Priya Mataji, myself, and Bhakti Rasadas. Many of us know him as Pavin. We're all part of this team and organization. So if you have any questions, any suggestions, we welcome them at any time. Before we get started with the presentation, I'm going to go into the why of why is it important. It's obvious why it's important that we protect our young ones. But sometimes when we think a little deeply about why we're doing what we're doing, it helps us become more committed to it and stay committed to it. So first of all, health, nutrition, survival, education, and equality. ISKCON's goal, in fact, ISKCON's one of the 7 goals is that Prabhupada wanted us to set up exemplary examples of community. Community which stand together strong, work collaboratively together. But in doing so, we must not neglect to think about our future. And like Neil Mother Prabhu was saying, our future are our children and their well-being and safety. Providing them a safe, nurturing environment is everyone's responsibility, not just parents. So how many of you have heard the statement, it takes a village to raise one child? Oh, mostly Matajis, I see. When I became a parent many years ago, I thought about this statement a lot, and I wondered what this statement meant. But if you really think about it, it's in our Vaishnava culture. Think of Sri Krishna Leela and think of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. And when we think of their Leela, one of them comes to mind is Putana deliverance. When I heard the Katha, I've heard it many, many times, right? But when I thought about it takes a village to raise one child, after Putana was delivered, baby Krishna was playing on her. And when Mother Yashoda was standing there with fright looking at him, it was the other gopis who brought Krishna to Mother Yashoda. Together with Mother Yashoda, all the gopis prayed for protection for Krishna. That itself is ingrained in our culture. It does take an entire community to look after one child. So it takes a village to raise one child. Now, as much as temple is our home, many of us have been coming here for many, many years. And those who have just started to come, we hope you continue to come here for many, many years. Temples are public places. As much as we regard temple as our home, we must not forget that they are public places. Just like we're vigilant for safety when we take our children to Walmart, Target, and other areas, we must always regard temple as an area or as a place where we should look after their safety. Like Neil Mother Prabhu was saying, we're not immune to danger. What happens outside could happen in our temple. Srila Prabhupada's personal instruction to us, he was very passionate and very, very focused on children's safety and their well-being and their upbringing. Can someone volunteer to read the statements for us? Don't be shy. I'm nervous too, but don't be shy. So if someone can volunteer, thank you, Prabhuji.
They are Vaikuntha children, and we are very fortunate to give them chance to further their Krishna consciousness. Do not neglect it or get confused. Your duty is very clear. Srila Prabhupada letter to Arundhati, Amsterdam, July 30th, 1972.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Somebody from Mataji's would like to read the second instruction to us? Thank you. These are some of the instructions that Prabhupada had given us, and to honor it, we must think very deeply about it too. Before we go on, I want to introduce you to the website of safetemple.org. This is the website of the Child Protection Headquarter Office. It gives you an introduction about them. It tells you about how you can report any kind of abuse and what exactly is child abuse. We will be going through it in great details as well. And it gives you a contact information as well for them. I will be happy to share it with anybody who's interested and wants to know more about their website. So now that we've thought about the why, I want us to think about what is child protection. Give me a raise of hands, anything that comes to your mind when you hear the word child protection. Yes. Their safety. And what are we really protecting them from? Abduction? Thank you. Yes, that's one. Could be. What else? Good, yes. Bad influence, danger. Anything else that comes to mind?
Physical abuse.
Thank you. Physical abuse. Talking about physical abuse, we can go on forward and abuse is actually categorized in different areas. Yes, thank you, Mataji. Mental abuse is one of the biggest ones. As we go on, child protection is protection of children from maltreatment. Maltreatment can be categorized as violence, abuse, neglect, but maltreatment can also be treating them differently according to their race, gender, or ethnicity, being unequal to children as well. And as well as unsafety, unhealthy, and hazardous living conditions as well. Those are all considered as abuse. When we think about abuse, we often think about physical first. And then it's sexual. The one that's most overlooked is emotional. Physical is when there's any non-accidental act or behavior causing injury, trauma, other physical suffering, or bodily harm. Sexual abuse is also referred to as molestation, is usually undesired sexual behavior by one person upon another. It is often perpetrated using force or by taking advantage of another. The one that's overlooked most often is emotional abuse. Emotional abuse, you can't see it. There are no scars, nothing is visible from them. But emotional abuse is very detrimental to growing children, even to us. Emotional and verbal abuse includes insults and attempts to scare, isolate, or control. We have to be very mindful that we have to look out for what is abuse in the name of discipline, especially when we are using it for our growing children. Here are some of the ISKCON laws and responsibility as parents. We require that all children should be supervised at all times, not just during festivals or special programs or during prasad. It should be at all times, including lecture. I know some of our students do attend Sunday school. When our children are attending Sunday school, They are responsibility of the teacher when they're there with her for 1 hour. But after the students have come back and finished their school, they are responsibility of parents. At least one parent should be with children under 12 during all times, including lecture and prasad. Kids above 12 doing service should be supervised by whoever assigns the service. Most often, we think our children are old enough to handle the responsibility and we leave them to their own. But we must never neglect the fact that they need to be supervised, even if they're above 12. Kids above 12 should let parents know where they are. If you receive a disclosure or if you suspect or have seen abuse, it is your responsibility to let the CPT team know, which is the Child Protection Team. There are other methods also or guidelines of what needs to be done, which I'll go through in the next few slides. If you see something, you have to say something. We all are obligated with this. It's our responsibility to create that safe and nurturing environment for our children. And keeping that in mind, kids' supervision engagement must be kept in the forefront when we are planning programs at Temple. Usually even during festivals like Janmashtami, when we have a huge tent. We're very blessed to have such a wonderful facility to be in. But we also have to be mindful that with our growing facility, it's of a growing community as well. And we have to be more vigilant about who's coming into the community. Some of the possible dangers at the temple premises is cleaning supplies, spaces under stairs, cars, traffic. I know we're kind of away from the main road, but we have the parking lot. That is also unsafe if children are playing out there. Animals, the next door chickens, I think that's what everyone was thinking about. Proximity to strangers. A lot of children are educated in school for talking to strangers and people they don't know. But it's something good to talk to your children about it, even whom they come across in temple, somebody they don't know. And unclean conditions. These are fun. They're practice scenarios. And I hope all of you take the chance to participate in this. As you drive up to the temple, you see 3 kids playing in the parking lot. What would be the safety concern issues here? As a parent, adult of the community, how should you respond?
You can get hit by a car.
Mm-hmm. Yes, getting hit by the car. Sorry? Abducted? Yes, talking to strangers. Very good. Anybody else? Yes, my Prabhu said damage to cars, and he speaks from personal experience. Or even children fighting. And if you see that, you can request the children to come inside. Trick question, is there a designated play area in this temple? No, good. I'm glad you all didn't fall for it. We have no designated play area. So children should be with their parents, should be either inside with an adult or downstairs. Very good. Okay, during prasadam, you see some children playing hide and seek. They are running upstairs and hiding in the closet with cleaning supplies. What's the child safety issue here? And as a parent and adult of the community, how would you respond?
Chemical burns.
Yes. Prabhuji said chemical burns. Drinking. Yes, drinking. Thank you, Mataji. That was my thought too. They could get locked. They could have chemical burns. They could injure themselves. Yes, yes, yes. And how would you respond to that? Little louder?
Speak with them gently.
Yes.
Tell them not to do that.
Yes. And stay with their designated adult. Yes. You can also, what if they don't listen to you? Then what are you going to do? Call their parents. Let the parents know what the children are up to or where they are and that they were not following. Now, we're all humans, and I'm a parent too, and it happens. If someone was to come up and tell you that your child is not listening, the first reaction we often have is being defensive. But before we react, it's my humble request that think about the intention of what the person meant to say. If the intention was to keep your child safe, then that's all that matters, nothing else. So we must guard ourselves. We must remember that what is the main goal for all of us as parents and as people in our community. The goal is to keep them safe. You are planning to attend for a weekday program at the temple. What kinds of planning could you implement to cover child safety issues? Remember, this is the weekday program. Louder? Get a babysitter, okay? Yes. What are some of the things you could do to keep them occupied while they stay with you during the program? Thank you. Thank you. Keep them occupied. Simple things. Bring activities for them so they can stay engaged and they can be part of the program and yet be with you and stay engaged. Good. I want to go back to the previous slide. I knew I'm going to miss something or the other. So something came to my mind is when we often are engaged in services when our children, and we leave our children sometimes unattended, we think they'll be fine with their friends. It is a humble request from the team. Try to reevaluate your service time. It's okay if you took a service a little later or have a designated adult stay with your child while you do your temple services as well. Okay, this is a tricky one. You notice someone is taking photographs and or video recording of a child or a group of children, and you are running late for your seva. What's the child safety issue here? As a parent and adult of the community, how would you respond?
Person could be child predator.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, then I'm going to be like, this is now Mataji's turn. I want something from the Matajis as well. No, Mataji, but you're an important part of our community, so it matters.
And we have grandchildren.
Yes. So someone is taking pictures and photographs. Tell me, what's a child safety issue? Yes. Yes, because there is possible exploitation of pictures on social media of children. You want to protect their identity. We have to take permission when we take pictures of our children in school with other children, right? Because their identity is protected. Your children's identity should be protected even in temple. So we have to be very vigilant about this, to intervene even if it's not your child. Even if it's not your grandchild, you have to intervene and kind of find out from that person who they are and what their intention is and what's going on. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. That's important, especially teaching them to say no. I don't want my pictures taken, or no, I don't want to talk to you because they are strangers. I want to tell you all about an incident that happened with me a few years ago in the old temple. They were two people, and they were asking a child to, if they could take the picture of that child. Somebody alerted me and came and told me about it. I approached them and I respectfully asked them not to take picture of just not that child, but of any child in the temple. Funny enough, I've never seen them again. But what stayed with me from this incident is that we as a community, we have had that relation, the trust and the openness between each other, that person came and alerted me. And I'm glad that I was there, but I'm even more glad that someone brought this to my attention. So remember, if you see something, we say something. It really does take a village. It takes each one of us, our responsibility, and in order to stay strong as a community, we have to play our part. We have to take that responsibility on us to protect each and every child in this community. Not just your child, but every child who comes into this door. In any case of abuse, any case of suspected abuse, any case of abuse that you have witnessed, you are obligated, and it is your responsibility to report it to the Maryland organizations that we have. The particular website that I have on here have different numbers of every county, and you're obligated to do so. You can contact us, and we would be happy to help you. It is a very awkward situation, and I know the dilemma it takes on somebody to call CPS, which is Child Protection Services of the county. I have done so in the past, and I know what it's like. So if you need any guidance, if you need any help, please come forward. We will be happy to help you, and we'll do our best to help you. Before we end, this is the end. Before I stop, I want to stop with Prabhupada's quote. Please take care of your children and make them perfectly Krishna conscious. That is very great service. If by your endeavor, 1 or 2 souls who come under your protection become liberated in this life, that is a great transcendental service to the Lord. Srila Prabhupada in his letter, September 30th, 1969. So before I end, I again want to thank Neelmata Prabhu and the temple management to giving this opportunity to all of us to sit here and have an open discussion. I hope through this presentation that some thoughts come to you and we open up and have discussions on how we can keep our temple being a safe, nurturing environment for our children and for everybody to grow in their bhakti. We welcome your suggestions, comments, or any questions that you have. And we appreciate each and every one of you. We are so happy that you all are part of our Baltimore community. And remember to stand strong. We all have to take the responsibility for all of our children. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, what a wonderful presentation. I think was very nice, and I think for many it's been an eye-opener because we as devotees, many of them came from India. They said, oh, you know what, this doesn't happen, everything. But it's an eye-opener that it happens everywhere. It said doesn't get reported. It happens India, here, every part of the world it happens. But some places people are just scared not to tell it there. So I think this is very important. I think my request is that every parent should take responsibility because sometimes I see kids are sitting upstairs or back somewhere running around. These areas are most dangerous one because just a stranger can come and just hide somewhere and do abuse on the kids. So we have to be very, very careful for that. So please make sure your kids are not brought upstairs or individually. If you are sitting with them, that's fine. But if you find next time the kids, the parents have to take responsibility. It's not like we prasadam, kids can run around. This is not a running circle here. As Mataji says, it's a designated playground. Please take it very seriously. This abuse will destroy families and generations like happen. So don't take it very lightly itself. I will just have a few things quiz for everybody's understanding what it means about all the stuff there. A child protection policy. A child is defined as what age? 24, 26, 15, 12, or 18? It's actually 18-year-old. Child is a child till 18-year-old. What we say is that under 12, they should not be left unsupervised. So guys, you got caught. Okay. The next one is, just like a physical abuse, there's an emotional abuse for a child also. What emotional abuse may involve? Does it involve like name calling, repeated rejection of the child, bullying, or all of the above, or none of the above? Yeah, that's easy. No, so it's very important. You know, I will give you a small example. Yesterday, I went to one of our neighbors' birthday party, and there's an African-American kid there. And this girl was the joking, and she was calling monkey. And if you see monkey, it's just a regular term. But if you go deep inside, initially there was no reaction, but then after that he came and really like boxed her. The girl hit one time. So the mother saw that and she said, I don't allow men to abuse women, you should never do that. But he said, Mom, she's called me several times monkey. And this is a racial slur actually, we should not be saying for anybody at all. So when the mom found out that her kid has been so long been picked on by name calling somebody else, she was shocked. He said, I couldn't believe that. And the kid didn't want to say anything to the mom. So that's another important part is that some name calling something happens, and bullying is this temple is a zero tolerance bullying. And if the kid, somebody does it there, please bring to CPT if they are there or to myself, and I'll talk to the parents personally because there is zero, these kids have to be nurtured with love, not with anybody else. Every kid should be done with love, respectfully. Joking is different, but name calling the 3 people gang on one kid who is quiet, that's not acceptable at all, please. This is very important. Now, the next one is child abuse is always a single incident and never involves a number of incidents that take place over time. Is it true or false? Correct. Very important. It's not a single incident. Research have shown that children are most likely abused by someone known to them, a parent, caregiver, relative. True or false? Very true. Sometimes we said, oh, it's always the abuse is done by strangers. No, it's the most common is when somebody you know them. So very, very careful. It happens for that. A disclosure in the context child protection training is one of the above. When a child tells somebody, whether directly or indirectly, that they are being abused or someone they know is being abused, or is a term used to describe a bird when its wings are spread over and the points downwards. Our third one is information provided about a property for sale. Our third one, so out of these 3, the first one is very clear. Child protection is when somebody is being abused mentally or physically for that one. So the next one is very important. Children are so creative and have such good imagination that you cannot believe them if they say that they have been abused. True or false? Very right. Never underestimate your kid. If he comes and mom, dad, something has happened, take it very, very seriously because those kids are very innocent and when they come, initially we may blow them off, nothing's going to happen. But that thing can go on for a long time. I remember that one Prabhu, I wouldn't say the name, he told me 20, 25 years back, it's happened with his daughter, one of the places, I wouldn't say the name, and in the bathroom she was abused. And unfortunately, the person was known in the community. Nothing was done at all because he told her that if you say something to your parents, I will kill one of them. And she was 8 or 9 years old. She didn't say anything at all. So after a year or something, the parents started seeing some difference in the kid itself. She was being reclusive, not responding at all. So then when she asked more, she didn't say anything. Then they go to a counselor, and she opened to the counselor because she was scared that her parents will demean or something else. And to this day, she hasn't come back to normal. So it's very important that you need to encourage your kids in loving manner, their son, daughter. If there's anything, please open up. Don't keep it yourself. We always support you. When they see they're supportive, it makes a big difference for that one. That's a very important point for us. Yes, well, you can. The next one is how should we respond to a disclosure if it comes to you? Number 1, investigate the disclosure, advise the child that you need to tell someone else who can help the child, encourage the person to talk in their own words. These are 6, 7 points. So would you investigate the disclosure? No, because you are not the authority for that. You come and tell the child protection or somebody, they do that. Would you advise the child that you need to tell someone who can help the child? The answer is yes, because if you encourage them, they will come forward for that. Would you encourage a person to talk in their own words? Very important, because sometimes they will say something and say, oh, no, this means you're deciphering your own things. No, when the kid is saying, he's saying exactly what happened. So never discourage the kid for that. Would you demean the person, or you assure the person that they've done the right thing in telling you? Reassuring, correct. And I think we'll take one more, and then we can stop after that. Unless we can keep going, there are a lot of good points here. Huh? Keep going, okay. Oh. Yes, please keep under supervision. If you suspect or believe a child has been abused or is at risk of abuse, you must make sure, true or false, make sure everyone in the community knows about disclosure so that other childs are protected. True or false? Actually, no, you shouldn't do that. Because what happens is that then you are opening up the can of worms for the kid for the whole thing. So what will happen? People start doing that. These things have to be first investigated and has to be done very clandestine manner, because if you start opening up the whole place, the family will get demeaned. No, so you keep it secretly, you keep it at the right authority. I'm not saying secret, not at all. And then let the child protection team take care of that. Like just like Mataji has given examples. These are real events. The kids are playing on the ground, going up chemicals, things are playing that. Vishnupriya Mataji saw that. And that's why the examples are there. So some of the examples, they find and they do that itself. The child protection also has so many investigations, cases they're investing, and they keep examples and share with everybody. It's very important for that. The next one, you will, when you feel a child has been abused, will consult with your friends, colleagues, and the parents, guardians of the child about what steps to take. True or false? No, you never consult anyone. With your friends, colleagues, and parents or guardian, you just go to the authorities. Because you're not authority for that, these are authorities. So you don't know what steps to take, so you take very seriously. The next one, immediately make an oral report by telephone in person to the civil authorities. Don't be scared. This is very true, exactly. Immediate action has to be taken because that person who's a pervert or something else could be abusing many more. If you don't take care of next day, somebody else could be a risk. One of your family members could be, anybody can be a risk. So please very proactive for that one. The next one, immediately report the matter to the local authorities for protection. True, you should do that. And the next one is true or false. You do not need to take any action if you suspect that a child is suffering or is unacceptable risk for suffering abuse. Correct. We need take proactive measure. And then I think we'll take one more, and then we'll be good. Before any person over the age of 15 can be engaged or approved to work with children or any activity or event under the ages of this Constitution, fulfill all, true or false, fulfill all legal requirements of people who work with the children in the state or in the temple, including working with the children checker, true or false? No, actually, you have to say, what we do is here in the temple, in ISKCON requirements, if a kid is supposed to work with, say teachers, we have to investigate them also to make sure they are safe. Just like when any new guest comes here, Vishnupriya Mataji always say, Prabhu, did you do like that? It's very important. Any new guest comes there who wants to stay overnight, or somebody is new arrivals here who will have a contact with authorities. Then what we do is we do background check. A background check entails any criminal, but most of all is child protection. I think good part is there. US has a very strong background check for child protection. So immediately we have a site and she goes and checks out, make sure everything is good. So that's very important that we should always, any new person comes and you know that he's a new person or he would like to stay here anywhere, so we have to make sure we take care of that action. Then I think next one, the last one is, there is no need to establish clear expectation of behavior of children and young people at the outset of an activity or program. True or false? Correct, exactly. Always child expectation behavior is very important. Where any kind of activity, like Mataji said, we have some activity day program. You have to put the expectation. This is what you have to do. And parents cannot be say, don't worry, beta, whatever happens, fine, don't well protect you. Like, no, you have to be strong. Trust me, it's very, very serious thing. It's not like 40, 50 years back. Things have become changed. People's mind have become nasty. You see so many times that, look at the clerk's abuses. Millions of kids have suffered through. ISKCON went through the same thing in the 80s and 90s. That's why we came with this policy to protect our kids. Because many of those kids have become normal at all. They have really suffered through that one, and they feel animosity towards everybody else there. We didn't bring this Krishna consciousness here to have somebody suffer through that and they lose their Krishna consciousness. This lifetime, we have this one-time life we get to surrender to Krishna. So we want to make sure everybody has a good mindset, everybody has the right attitude to take care of that. So what we have to do is, every one of us together in this one. If you see somebody is going through, please inform. Please be proactive. If you see kids are running away somewhere unattended, you don't want to just hanker them, just come tell Mataji or myself or anybody else. we can talk to the parents, because sometimes if you go and tell the parents, they may take other way around, so then let the authority take care of that, and we'll make sure. And this is zero tolerance zone. If under 12, we tell one time, two time, third time, they will not be allowed to bring kids to the temple at all. We'll take care of that. So thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate you coming. I think our goal was to, as Mataji said, Prabhupada really encouraged that these kids are Vaikuntha children itself. And the more we have this, we have to give love, but not having them suffer in abuses. So if we can keep being proactive and you make sure they take care of that, I think our community is going to prosper like anything. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, we have prasadam downstairs, so please let's all have prasadam now.